Hi everyone. In the previous video we learned about fractions. Today we will be learning about numerators and the denominators. First of all, let's focus on numerator. Numerator is the number which is written on the top of the horizontal line. So, for example, if we have something like this, so this number will be our numerator, which is 3. And numerator tells us the number of parts that are taken from the total. For example, 3 by 4 tells us that out of total of 4 parts, 3 parts are taken. Now let's move on to denominator. Denominator is the number that is written below the horizontal line. For example, again, let's take 3 by 4. So, in this case, 3 is the numerator, while this number 4, which is written below this line, this is the denominator. Now let me explain you the second point related to denominator. Denominator tells us the total number of parts that make up a whole. Now I'll explain you this point by drawing two pictures. So over here I have made two circles. Let's assume that these both are identical circles. Okay, so we will divide the first circle into 4 equal parts, whereas we will divide the second circle into 8 equal parts. Let's assume that we have divided both of them in equal parts. Okay, so now see carefully that in this case 4 parts make up a whole. 4 parts make up a whole, whereas in this case 8 parts make up a whole. So in this case our denominator would be 4, but in this case our denominator will be 8. I hope you understood this point. Let's move on. Okay, so now let's identify the numerator and denominator of the following fractions. So 2 by 4, 1 by 3, 3 by 5, and 6 by 7. Okay, so over here I have 4 fractions. Let's move on to the first fraction. In this case we have 2 as the numerator and 4 as the denominator. How can we express this fraction as a pictorial form? So let's say that we have a circle, and what we will do is that we will divide it into 4 parts, and then we can shade 2 parts. So this picture represents this. In the second fraction we have 1 as the numerator and 3 as the denominator, and we can represent it as, again let's take a circle, but this time we will divide it into 3 equal parts, and then we will shade one of its part. So this is equals to this. Now in the third fraction we have 3 as the numerator and 5 as the denominator. We can represent it as a rectangle which is divided into 5 equal parts, and out of 5 parts 3 of the parts are shaded, just like this. Let's assume that we have divided them into equal parts. So in this case we have 6 as the numerator while 7 as the denominator, and we can represent it as, again let's take a rectangle divided into 7 equal parts. Let's assume that these are equal parts, and out of 7 parts we will shade 6 parts like this. So this is equals to this. I hope you understood.